Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Sunday, August 16th, 2015. In the Lynn-Body-Mind, we have me, Ra, also Luce, Pan, and Glenn. In the Jamie Body-Mind, we have Black Wolf and Fritz, other teammates and other aspects of the physical dimension, all of us in the physical dimension in one size or another. We have our foundational assignment to manifest the divine plan no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do. That assignment never goes away. The data has shown what's needed is to provide a collective restart. And the data has also shown that this portal is an essential part of the effort. We don't really know what direction the videoed portion of our work is going to take today, so we will go with that foundational assignment. And with that, it begins. My attention is drawn to Charles and Fernando.
That's true.
Who are way down at the bottom of this pillar. And the end of the line Outpost team led by Steve with Hank there. We see the handshake where Steve is shaking hands with Charles.
That's true.
And I see Glenn there also,
yes,
an aspect
that's true.
of Glenn. That's interesting. What do I know?
Yeah.
I know that we have this overall assignment to simplify.
That's true.
To get to one level of non-physical.
That's true.
And one level of physical dimension.
True.
And to simplify into cycles where no one is exempted from the cycles of reincarnation.
That's true.
And in that way the non-physical beings will develop some muscle tone and we will be able to provide a collective restart.
That's true.
We know that right now, given our sorry state of conditioning, that we're able to collapse the non-physical.
That's true.
Because there's nothing structurally holding it in place.
Right, that's true.
But we aren't able to have much, if any, impact on the physical dimension.
That's true.
We need to get more and more practiced actually being in the physical dimension.
That's true.
However, we can correct errors in the physical dimension.
That's
and
true.
The more we open up, the deeper into the subatomic this pillar opens up, the deeper the errors that we can correct.
That's true.
Charles and Fernando are at a very deep, small subatomic level.
That's
and
true.
These errors go way back. They go probably predating single-celled life.
That's true.
Because that toboggan-looking body-mind that
yes.
Stephen Hankerin seems to be something like a single-celled organism.
That's true.
And Charles and Fernando have come up from a deeper level. They went in on that assignment to stage that stunt with an attempt to get the spirit world to engage in a rescue mission to rescue
true.
Charlie.
That's
and
true.
They were horrified to find that the spirit world didn't care for Charlie like he thought they did.
That's true.
That might have been humbling.
That's definitely the opportunity to find humility, practice humility.
Well, so let's see about clearing errors of ego. This is something that we're all falling into. I know the word that keeps coming up over and over again today is humiliating. When we actually deconstruct the work that has happened as a team and see how much was generated by an actual physical body as opposed to by us, the higher dimension beings, it's humiliating.
That's true.
And so there's reluctance on all of our parts to acknowledge that, and that's crazy.
That's true.
I see it. I see how I wander off like a demented lunatic.
That's true.
Oh, toddler.
The demented toddler. Because I fall down every couple of steps.
True. And I forget what I'm doing. I feel much more like a demented lunatic. I feel like an Alzheimer's patient.
You're probably ahead of me then. That's true.
Let's correct these errors of arrogance. What do I know? I know that this Lynn-Body-Mind does not have arrogance as an error pattern.
That's true.
That's not even on the map. The error pattern with regard to self-assurance versus humility was errors of inadequate self-assurance. And so the arrogance that's showing up in those of us who are resident here, it's not her arrogance, it's ours.
That's true. Well, this body-mind absolutely had a pattern of arrogance, and so it probably is flaring for the souls who already had arrogance as a pattern when we're working in the body-mind that has a pattern as well.
Oh, it's interesting. Maybe that is part of why Paul did so poorly over there.
That could be. One error pattern feeding another between the soul and the body.
Well, Paul's current choice of physical incarnating host should bring him humility because he chose to move into a baby frog
That's true.
rather than face the assignment that was right on the table in front of him.
That's true.
And Asha did too. Paul and Asha are living in a baby frog now.
That's true.
How's that working?
Probably not as well as they thought it would.
They're not able to get much done.
That's true.
How may we be of service right now to provide a collective restart right now? My attention is brought back to Charles and Fernando.
Yes, that's true.
Friends, there's a lot of error correction that needs to be done in the subatomic. Are you willing to engage in that process?
I could be having a fantasy, but they feel willing.
They feel willing.
Yeah.
What Glenn has been doing is finding the cartons and boxes of lies and simply walking up with humility, walking up the stairs through the body-mind, through the pillar, carrying the cartons of lies up and handing them up through the crown chakra.
That's true.
To the higher soul who's in the 1st through 5th sky chakras in the
That's
command
true.
center that floats up and down between the 1st and 5th sky chakras. And
That's
that
true.
is work that needs to be done, and it supports vertical integration. Are you willing? Just start where you are, use what you have, do what you can, gather up the cartons of lies. Like there are plenty of cartons of lies right around you, including lies you yourselves participated in, and to start with those. It helps us when we grab our own lies first, when we acknowledge our own untruths first, everything goes much more smoothly.
That's true.
Now, we've all said things that aren't true because we all make mistakes, we all get confused, and we misinterpret things, and nobody cares about that. What matters is that we acknowledge our mistakes and correct them right away.
That's
But as soon as
true.
we begin to know that something that we said was untrue, and we leave that untruth alone, uncorrected, that's when we begin to lie. That's a lie.
That's true.
Not correcting untruths that we ourselves have said.
That's true. It feels like I can feel their hands on the cartons. It feels like they're lifting them up.
I feel that too.
It's true. And
But I also feel like they want it to just magically, it's like they're picking it up and holding it up. Who do you think is going to take those? The delivery
that's
system has
true.
broken down. There isn't anybody. There are the stairs.
That's
Get
true.
going.
To bring it all the way up to above the 1st sky chakra.
Or at least hand them up to Steve and Hank at the end of the line outpost, who can then pass them up to Betty Jean at the transport portal, who can
then pass
hand them up
up.
into the Earth and its environs level here at
That's
Lynn and
true.
Jamie Body Mind, and we can hand them up to the control room.
That's true.
We could do it that way.
Like a bucket brigade.
We could do a bucket brigade because
That's
they,
true.
they don't seem willing to walk up and down the stairs.
No, I don't think so.
Glenn
That's
is
true.
saying, yeah, well, you know, I myself am continuing to walk up and down the
That's
stairs.
true.
If they don't
you
want
can
to
do whatever
it,
you want to do. I'm
whatever-
going to walk up and down the
Right,
stairs.
you guys are being crazy idiots because
true.
we need to develop effectiveness in the physical dimension. And if you think you're going to get into shape without exercise, you're deluding yourself. You're
That's
telling
true.
yourself some kind of lie.
That's
So
true.
do what you want. And he's picking up a box
Yeah,
and
going up the
the
stairs.
stairs.
It's true.
Good for you, Glenn. It's happening impossibly fast, so I don't know what that means because I just saw him moving through the transport portal, and there's no way he could get there that fast.
That's true.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I do. It's
Wow.
like watching it in fast forward almost.
Well, what that might show is that the eternal bubbles are still functioning.
That could
It could
be.
be.
That could be.
Could be something else too, I don't know. Boxes of lies I myself
have told, participated in, and or supported,
standing by silently when something didn't feel right.
That's true.
And I feel like I'm loose now. There are so many things that didn't feel right to me, but I have struggled with maintaining my energy body, and sometimes I'm the one being crazy, but often there are things that aren't right, and I just am having a hard time detangling what isn't right about it, and so I stay silent. But if I lay out the map of all the conversations I've been a party to over the past, let's say, 6 months, and use paint, certain tints of paint, to paint that which didn't feel right, much of it doesn't feel right.
That's true.
And then there are these shining moments that it feels really right.
That's true.
And actually what I'm noticing through this exercise is that I'm going to learn something. I now can pluck the shining moments when it felt right, where there wasn't that something's wrong feeling.
That's true.
And they all have a commonality about them. There's something that's consistent about these.
What is it?
I'm trying to figure it out.
It could be about that body-mind.
It could be. What do I know? I feel like I'm loose still.
Yeah.
I know that I have thought for a long time that this body-mind was really great, and that I wanted this body-mind. I've said multiple times, if you don't treat that body-mind better, I'm taking her away from you.
That's true.
And I want this body-mind, and I see how I myself am not the best driver for it, and we've tested that multiple times this last week, that Ra is a better driver of this body-mind than I am.
That's true.
But I'm starting to feel it's possible all those moments where there wasn't some kind of untruth present, maybe they all had that as a commonality. Maybe this body-mind was holding space during those conversations.
That could be.
I feel like I'm raw right now. That's humiliating, but it doesn't make it untrue.
That's true.
It doesn't feel, what Luce just said doesn't feel untrue.
No,
it's
it felt
inconvenient and humiliating.
Yeah, that's true.
But inconvenient and humiliating isn't the same as being untrue.
That's true. How may we be of service?
Well, let's get the lies out of here.
That's true. My story is that Betty Jean could also do this, and it would be helpful for her to participate in this process. Betty Jean, let me show you what we've been doing. My story is, it's one of those classic Betty Jean moments where she goes, "Oh, that's right!"
I like Betty Jean.
Oh, that's right.
She sees it.
It was starting to feel like a bottleneck was happening at the transport portal.
True. It feels better.
Starting to.
Betty Jean, what Glenn has found is that it's actually helpful to actually walk up and down the stairs, not just pass things up and down. And remember that if we lose this portal, if we lose this portal, we're going to have to try to keep the subatomic open without her.
That's true.
Then anything you do right now will help pave the way.
That's true. Walking up and down the stairs, I highly recommend. I Black Wolf.
But not just walking as if selfishly on a stroll. Pick up the lies and
carry
take them
up.
Higher and higher, higher and higher, all the way. Now, Betty Jean, all the way through this aspect. Don't stop here. You want to actually be able to make contact with the command central up in the sky chakras. You need to make contact there, or you're toast if we lose this portal.
That's true.
So walk all the way up through this portal, all the way up into the sky chakras.
That's true.
And get your people to come with you. Let's see, I think she's losing her whole crew. I think
that's my story.
They've lost everybody.
It's just down to Betty Jean.
It's down to that body that she's in, and Betty Jean, and whether or not she has anybody with her is unclear.
There could be others, maybe 2 others.
Souls.
Yes.
One physical body, maybe 3 souls in one physical.
That's my story.
And I asked her, do you want somebody to join you? And, maybe Asha. Maybe, like, she doesn't
Maybe
seem...
Asha.
Yeah, maybe Asha.
Maybe Asha.
Asha's living in a frog right now, so she might as well go work with Betty Jean.
That's true.
That might be a better idea.
That's true.
All right.
Start to tune to truth.
Oh, that's so good.
All the way up and down the pillar.
Oh, Luce is tuning to truth. Boy, he's so good with that.
That's true. And everybody up and down, each for ourselves and each for the team as a whole. Tune the pillar to truth.
At least we can get the non-physical collapse down, maybe. I don't know how much can we accomplish in these last several days. We're not strong enough to make an impact in the physical. That's proven.
That's true.
But we can melt down the non-physical and get it down to one layer of levels and get everybody engaged in the cycles, and then they'll at least be set to develop strength.
That's true.
Maybe that's the best use of
We can
this
do
time. It's possible.
That's possible.
It's possible. It's confusing how to... What we actually need to do is meet the conditions.
That's true.
So that we don't just have 5 more
Right,
days.
so we're not just looking for an easier way.
There is no easier way. This is
That's
going to be a
true.
disaster.
That's
This is
true.
going to be a total disaster.
That's true.
Because then there'll be people coming into the physical. They won't be doing the right thing. They won't be in the right body. This is
That's
what
true.
we notice is the body herself knows who's supposed to be where. We put ourselves in the wrong place. We do crazy things like going into a baby frog, for goodness sakes.
true.
That's insane. That's insane.
That's true.
This isn't going to go well. We
No.
have to make this work.
That's true.